Men and women are trash. We have a special guest that's going to be discussing this hashtag with us because I need to understand it and explore. So, welcome to Good versus Men and Women Are Trash. So, bear with us and we're going to go for it. So, our special guest today is my toddler, who you can hear offline. She's got something to say about this hashtag, apparently. So bear with us. So, special guest today is BUKI KOSHONI, who's going to us. I'm going to add him, so he'll be joining us. So bear with us. So yeah, there's a hashtag going around that for a while. Oga, hello.
And to you.
How far? How are you?
I'm very, very well.
Thank.
Put the volume up. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Can you hear? Can you hear me and toddler in the background?
I can. I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah. So basically, I'm just explaining. This is our special guest, BUKI KOSHONI, who's gonna explain about his work and his passions shortly. But I'm gonna just type down below. So this is basically called Good versus Men and Women Are Trash. Whatever that means, I'm hoping BUKI and you guys can enlighten me, because I saw it a while back and it just made me very uncomfortable. So we're gonna see what that means. Let's have a look. So bear with me a second. Right. So BUKI KOSHONI, please tell the lovely viewers that we have about yourself and your business and your creativity. What do you do?
First and foremost, I'm a photographer, specializing, I would say, in portrait and fashion. But I took a really interesting route to photography. I've done styling, creative directing. I actually started out directing music videos. So I've always been
You continue.
Making images in one way or another. But for the last 10 years, I've really focused on my skills into being a full-time portrait fashion photographer. I've had the pleasure of working with a number of really cool brands and publications. And now, the last year or so, I've been building a fashion brand, which is an amalgamation of my core beliefs, my creative talents. And yeah, I've been building that for about 8 months now. And it's going really well,
Excuse me. Hello, everybody. Basically, I don't want my child on screen, but she's trying to get involved with this what's called discussion. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. So basically, BUKI and I go way back, and he was amazing because it was, I think, over 10 years ago now that my mother, who is of Nigerian heritage, wanted to share her story and about our ancestry, her past, and her interesting story. So I thought, well, she's never going to get around to doing it. So took a kind of notes about it and wanted to bring that to screen. And BUKI was the guy that I just thought would have made the aesthetics and the story come to life. But you know, that's on the whole. Life took over. And you know, we had to get paying jobs, but the dream is never over. You know, things are meant to happen when it's meant to happen. It's been busy, but the timing of it now, finally we've got round to making this happen. So we're going to get to it. Welcome everybody who's joining us. This is Good versus Men/Women Are Trash, a hashtag that's been online, and I'm hoping you guys can let us know what you make of this. So bear with me when reading my notes. So the themes we're going to explore in these videos are basically how this can be an emasculating term. I think it's what we wanted to know from, I wanted to find out from a man's point of view about this. So first of all, before that, let's start with the constructive.
Yeah.
If you haven't answered this already, how are you keeping your creativity and business going during this COVID-19 social distance, especially as there's pressure on the man to provide in society?
I think that's a great question. For me, what I always like to do is I like to look at an environment or a challenge from as many perspectives as possible. So when you say the word man, I probably break down the word man into 7 or 8 different categories. When you say provide, I would break that down into sort of 3 or 4 categories. When you say creative. So if you're looking at it from the sort of common sense angle, man, creativity, provide, quite frankly, I can't. I cannot use my creativity to earn money to look after my family. And so I sort of felt the last sort of 5-6 days sort of like a soldier with no mission. I've got all this training and I've got no objective. But what I realized is that what you have to start to organize in your mind and think about is what the word creativity means to you, what the word provide means to you, what the word objective means to you, and what the word learning means to you. What is it to be productive? To be more precise, I said I'm looking to build a fashion brand. I'm in the midst of doing it at the moment. What I really want to be doing is visiting the factories, feeling the fabric, speaking to my designers, and really having face-to-face meetings to push things forward. I cannot do that. So I went onto Amazon and I bought a book called The History of Fashion Logistics. Believe me, this is not what I want to be doing with my time. I don't want to sit in the corner and read, but the truth is I know nothing of true fashion logistics. I don't know about invoicing days. I don't know about freight and VAT and tax and offshore and onshore. So I have a book and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to read that book cover to cover, make notes and learn. Am I directly providing finance for my family? No, that's not going to bring me in money today. But what I think you have to focus on now is our short-term gain is done. So we have to look at our long-term gain. Look at your creativity as a business, as a skill. We all have strengths and weaknesses. My strength is to be on set, photographing and creating. My weakness is getting my VAT done on time. Is understanding logistics, is doing my accounts. It's not fun. It's not why we all got into this business. We're all very passionate creatives with a lot to say, and we want to do that. But I know that 7 months from now, when I'm having a conversation with my suppliers and we're trying to figure out where the trousers have disappeared to, how much is this going to cost me, what our options are. The work I have done now to understand the realities of logistics is going to pay dividends down the road. So I'm not providing for my family in the traditional sense, but any time that you are upping your skill, that you are broadening your knowledge base, which feeds directly into your chosen field of work, then you are providing not only for yourself, but for the people around you. And that's how I've had to change my mentality, and that's how I'm trying to keep saying at this time.
That's really good, because it's like a by force, adapt or die. And I think it's kind of embedded in our DNA in a sense, but this is, by force, you have to, do you want it badly enough? And can you focus your mind on it? Consume, it's a very pressurized environment, climate, online and offline. Salute to you for even being able to focus, because you have, a different life as well. As you can hear, my life is family, and it's just like the reason for we adapt or die mode.
Absolutely.
To provide for that, for her and for us. Hello, beautiful. Be with you shortly. And come in here. It's okay. And then it's doing that. So it's carrying on and soldiering on, like you said. And I love that, because this is a really good lesson. This is a really good lesson for a solid foundation. You've got your dream. How are you going to have that foundation? Like you said, short term and longer and long term. Wish you strength with that. So basically, I love that this is happening when it's meant to happen, and we can focus on this, because I've always wanted to talk about this. Men are trash. I think it's been men are trash and women just venting. But Everybody, yes. And then, but there's a women are trash and response and stuff like that. So I wanted to tie in with your Batman stroke black man concept and merch that's available. Go to buki.com, people, after this video, and make it available later. So basically, let's start with the definition. Away from that men are trash, women are trash hashtag, it links to emasculation. So I had to look up the definition of emasculate, which is to deprive of strength, vigor, or spirit, to weaken. And this men are trash, women are weak is kind of, these blanket statements have always made me very uncomfortable. Especially things like the double standard by a lot of boys and men and girls and women in terms of boys and men, in terms of being, on the one hand, having their strength and also being reliant on women's strength, relying to fuel their own strength, and then and the worst of all, to kind of project their double standards. And it's not, no, and it's not, and it's not the men's fault, because we are raised to be self-sufficient, and there's a kind of contradictory thing from society, from elders, from family, in terms of, okay, well, you celebrate the kind of, how do you say, the weaknesses, the trash element of men's behavior, using, abusing. It's enabled by some men, but a lot of societal men celebrate that. But at the same time, it's like, as the pressure as a provider, kind of walking contradictions. So then, just wondered your thoughts on that.
My thoughts are, at the risk of sounding more clever than I really am, my honest thoughts are, I do everything I can to avoid statements like that, to avoid making them, ingesting them, inhabiting them, or thinking about them. My number one goal in life,
you keep going,
intellectual freedom, creative freedom, and spiritual freedom. So, in order to cope with in order to attack a statement or deal with a statement, men are trash, I would sort of first talk about what the word, again, man means. I like to stay away from labels. And so I think inherently what people are doing is, people in general are strong. People in general are weak. People in general are trash. People in general are trustworthy. So if you subscribe to a general ideology, a general pattern of behavior of a culture or ethnicity or sex, then you can start to pinpoint certain familiarities in behavior of, say, men. And yes, you could say, yeah, men are trash. I understand where that's coming from. But for me, what I try to do is, what is a man? I have no idea if I'm a man or not. I know I identify as male. I know that within the societal constructs that we live in, I'm viewed as a male. But I try to spend as little time in my real life trying to be a man or understand what a man is. I have no interest in that, and I have no time for it. The only thing that I'm concerned with is, am I being my authentic self to the best of my ability in the most free of manners? That's what I focus on. So conversations like men are trash, women are this, I don't understand the proposition, because you will have to first tell me what a man is. And I think that anybody I have any time, respect, love for, anybody I want to make room for in my life, I believe that they would not be able to give me a definition of what a man is. A man is anything that person who identifies as male chooses to be. And so sentences like that, I've never really allowed them to seep into me or spend any time thinking about it. Men are trash. I think the statement is trash. And I think that statements like that are exactly, and I'm going to keep it to people of black origin, people of color. That's what I am. That's what I understand. I can't speak for others. But I think statements like that are the type of limiting statements and viewpoints that only keep us further down within the system that's already keeping us down. Not to get too righteous about it, but if you are looking to be seen as an equal, if you are looking to be treated fairly in whichever environment or situation that you happen to be in, that you come upon, then you have to give yourself the same respect that you want others to give you. I don't want to be judged as a man. I don't want to be judged as a black man. I don't want to be judged as a West African. I want to be judged as BUKI. And BUKI is a fallible, complicated, strong, shy, creative, talented, and sometimes weak human being who tries his best every day to make the most of what he has. So I duck and weave and avoid those sentences like the plague. And I think men are trash, women are this, women are that, are dangerous in all walks of life and cultures. But I think specifically for people of an ethnic origin, for black people specifically, there's an extra component which makes it particularly harmful to us. If we want to be free, if we want to be judged on our merits and our merits alone, then we must learn to judge ourselves and our culture as our people on our merits and merits alone. So I avoid those statements as I can. Linking it to Batman, Black Man, the piece of work that you brought, it was a black male model wearing a Batman mask. And the full title is Batman, Black Man, Duality of Self. I believe that all of us wear masks. I think we can all understand that sort of concept. We're different people in different situations. I'm 42 years old. I came to England when I was 6 years old, back in the 80s. It's a very different country. So I've grown up through a lot of different cultural standpoints. I've been chased down the road by skinheads. I've seen a lot of different Englands. And what I noticed is that it was very hard for me to simply be myself in a lot of situations. And I found, speaking from a very personal point of view, that I did wear a mask. I would often find myself the only black person in a white environment because of the school I went to or the job I did or the things I enjoyed. And I always, as I got older, I started to ask myself, how truthful to my natural cultural instincts and behavior am I being? And it wasn't until I sort of hit my 30s that I was able to sort of remove that mask and say, look, this is who I am. And a lot of friendships that I built up for decades, they kind of faded away. And I don't blame them because I wasn't being my authentic self. So my whole ethos as an artist and my whole standpoint in my work is that we are all different people at different times. And once you start to label something, which I think is what society does in order to understand and control, I think you start to lose the originality and the specifics and the joy of what things are.
Bear with me. Yeah, my thing that was really took me to different places and some fantastic insights, because someone introduced me to a definition called code switching.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that until kind of end of last year. Yeah. And the thing is, though, it is a duality when you're having to, you always your authentic self, but you're having to dilute your strength to be less intimidating to others. Especially you can take off the mask, but you can't take off the skin, and you're a target. And I'm 42. We emigrate here, but at the same time, it was. I think it's hard for the genders in different ways, but for you guys in particular, you know, broad shouldered soldier. Even if you said that you were shy, but you know, other people I've heard, they'll always come for the strong. That's why I hear from a lot of our people and stuff like that. But you know, across skin as well. But particularly, you're just a target on your back. And I hear so many stories as well. But I think it's for me, it's weird. You just get I never followed groups either, and I think that's helped my armor. But not engaged. I'm in my own world, super aware, but at the same time, kind of lucky. I think gender had a thing to do with it. We're not seen as strong. We're kind of kind of thing, but we carry the world on our shoulders. But thank you for those insights. I think it's amazing. Please comment and share your thoughts below. I'm going to send a link to it's on BUKI KOSHONI, BUKI KOSHONI.com, and the Batman Black Man works, concepts, and merch is available on there. I wanted to ask you about family expectations, which you touched on, but I wanted to find out about where this hurt comes from, because the hashtag good men are trash, women are trash, it's always this kind of gender tennis. It's very, like you said, it's a toxic thing, but I just always wondered, it's always done usually from hurt, a place of hurt. And I just wondered whether it's from family expectations, and whether it's taken on in relationships, or taken on with peers, and you dare not speak back to your elders. They're never wrong. We all know you're wrong, but you never admit that. You never admit it. You never say it, or you just get a festival of slaps, or you're excommunicated, whatever. And it's a very strange dynamic, quite exhausting to navigate. So in terms of from your perspective, despite the good intentions, most of the time it's always done with intentions, but there seems to be just a legacy of toxic expectations, especially from men. And I just wondered, can you share any kind of overbearing experiences of yours, or what experience that could kind of maybe link into where this men are trash comes from? Because I thought it came from the whole kind of be a man, sow your seed. Many children are blessings, but you're like, it's like it's especially as African heritage. It's in all communities, but it's like, so you're encouraging men to sow their oats, but get married.
I know where you're coming from. I think you've touched on a really few interesting points. The blanket that covers all of this for me, and again, please understand, I'm just speaking from my own personal viewpoint and experience. The blanket that covers all of this is that I believe that most of our pain comes from expectation. This expectation is usually not built on any truth or evidence. It's usually purely built on emotional needs. So that links into the time we were born. I was born in the 70s. Being a man in those days is very different to what's allowed or even expected in today. So on the one hand, I can only be what I've seen. I can only be what I've been, what I've experienced and been subjected to.
You carry on.
So you grow up with this idea that men are a certain way and men have to be a certain way. You mix that in with what I believe women are brought up in. So my mother, incredibly strong woman, amazing. She does have traditional views. So I can only imagine that women have grown up from that area being subjected to what this idea of a woman is. And so we have this expectation as we grow older that we are going to find what we have seen. As clever as we all think we are, we only know what we have been subjected to. That's our reality and that's our truth. So subconsciously, I believe that we grow up thinking, well, my dad got up every day and went to work. Mum was at home, but she also worked. She seemed to have the kids more. Dad seemed to deal with money more. We just grow up thinking this is the way things are. So there's a subconscious expectation that we have built in us. But as we grow and we become older and we become wiser, we start to hopefully, in my opinion, break down these gender roles and stereotypes. And there comes the conflict. Do we let go of essentially what is us? What is our culture? What is our teachings? And how much do we embrace the new information that we have learned? The solution for me comes back to this idea that I am not part or subjected to any rules and regulations and titles. I am Buki. I am not a black Nigerian man. I am not a black man. I'm not a man. I'm just Buki. And when you start to deal with yourself from a single position, that's when you can find your truth. Once you find out the truth of who you are, then you can start to go and find it out in the world. But what you can't do when you're looking for that job or that person, when you're looking for love and however you receive it, you have to make room for the other person's truth. You're not dating a woman, you're dating Claire or Lola. You know what I mean? You have to deal with people on an individual basis. My opinion is this: every time you start to make generalizations, every time you start to categorize, every time you start to deal with people as a mass, you will run into trouble. As they say, you will run into wahala, you will run into problems. So the first thing you have to do, in my humble opinion, is you just have to spend some time with yourself. And that might mean extricating yourself from your culture in ways that are uncomfortable, extricating yourself from your family in ways that feel alien, from your friends. You have to find yourself. Yes, I appreciate that I'm a West African man. I come from Nigeria. I love my food. I love my people. I love our culture. There's nothing about it I would change. But I have to look at those factors in relation to who I am. What are my beliefs? Do I really believe that it's a man's job to make the money and women should have the kids more often than not? Hell no, I don't believe that. Not at all. So am I going against my culture? Am I somehow saying that my mum and dad got it wrong? For a culture in which we have so much respect for our parents, it's really difficult to sort of say that to yourself. You know what? I'm actually not sure I really like how mum and dad did that. I think I want to do it a different way. It's like you're turning your back on your family or your truth or your people. You're not. Stop looking at yourself as this group of people. You are you. Find yourself, find out what your truth is, and then do the hard work of putting one foot in front of the other, slowly by slowly, and creating your specific path. I think you must always come back to the individual. You must always come back to one, and you must always look at things from your perspective, and you must first figure out what your perspective is. So I went to university. I pretty much did no work in my A-levels. All I did was play sport. If you're good at sport, never bothered you with work, so I just got through playing sport all the time. Got a few A-levels, skin on my teeth, got into a university because I started school a year early. Ridiculous. I knew nothing about nothing. I did a marketing degree and I dropped out in my third year because I'm the youngest of four boys. I'd seen my eldest brother become a lawyer. He then passed the bar. He then did a master's degree. He was studying into his 30s. And he's left all of that, and he's now one of the most successful creatives in Lagos. And I saw the pain that my elder brother went through, the decade of trying to please mum and dad. And the truth is, this happened to my other two brothers in varying degrees. So it's okay for me to sit down here and talk from a place of strength about being single. I had it easier than most, in the sense that I had three people whom I really love struggle with the cultural pressures we feel to be what you're told. So by the time I got there, I woke up one morning, I went into mum and dad's room, and I said, I'm not going back to uni.
Wow.
Yeah. It was, till this day, the scariest thing I've ever done or will ever do, barring being a dad. But the conviction in which I said it to my parents is the only reason why I feel that we didn't just all fall out. And that is the technique that I applied to all my life. Who am I? What is my truth? as silly as it may sound to the outside world, what is it that I really want to do? What is it that I really want to accomplish? It doesn't matter whether it goes against your culture, your religion, your teachings, your this, your that. You have got to figure out how those things sit with the other things that are important to you. But all I can tell you from my very short time on this earth, and from my humble position, is that the moment you start lying to yourself, you will never be able to achieve the true success you're looking for, however you see success. So it's a battle and it's hard. And every day you wake up, you think, why am I always going against things? Why am I always saying this to mum? Why am I saying that to my English friend? Why am I saying that to my meeting? Why doesn't the work, It's because the world is a system. People have expectations. And truth is the exact opposite of expectation and system. Truth fights against those things constantly. And so to be your authentic self day to day is to constantly be at war with inauthenticity, with non-authentic things. And it's tiring, and sometimes you want to give up and sometimes you do. But all I can say is just keep going, man, because there is no better type of truth than that. And for me, the truth is love, and I think in the end, that's what we're all looking for. I hope that makes some sense.
That makes so much sense in a very nonsense world. Very, very wise words. It's very hard because on the one hand, like you were saying, you want to hold on to tradition. Okay, then come here and leave it here. You finished that one. Well done. And it's very hard you want to move forward as one and hold on to those traditions that have kept communities in good stead globally. But at the same time, it's odd, isn't it? That adapt or die. The adapt or die mode is, if you try and do that in an individual way. It's okay, babe. If you try and do that in an individual way, everybody scatters. It's constant contradictions with self. So I love how you explained it, and it is very, very clear. So what I wrote down here earlier, in which you wrote for, I think we'll go from that's your perspective, and I think it speaks volumes. Please comment below and share whether you agree or disagree with our thoughts. And so coming from a place of hurt, I think you said earlier, it's a very good idea to keep yourself company, and this social distancing and isolation by force is a necessity, because it's now or never. Find that as well. So here you go. It's all now and then. Read your book, go and finish your book, and then we can do it afterwards. And I think but that whole kind of thing where it's loads of people just jumping on board and inflaming, probably a very minor thing where people can't communicate. So on that level of like, okay, do as you're told, don't question the elder. And because actually you realize they might not actually have the answers, because they haven't broken the mold. I've just birthed this boy, and I've got to look after him. I've all of this, but you are as strong. I've noticed that they actually want to be that strong, but at the same time keep that status. And it's not even, you did it in a respectful, kind way. And all of a sudden you're like, this could go either way. I lose my comfort, my life, or I lose myself.
I think there are a few things I had to realize.
You carry on.
I think that you have to find out what it is you believe in life, and you have to figure out what your rules and your mantras are. What I believe is that all of us work from a place of either love or fear, and that's it. It's very simple. So I believe that when people are doing things which aren't productive or supportive or helping you be your authentic self or get you to where you need to be, it's usually because they're scared. It's not because they don't want you to succeed or they don't think you have what it takes. And speaking specifically with parents, my parents were just scared. They were worried I wasn't going to get to where I was going to get to. I was going to run afoul in whatever my dreams were. And so once I understood that about my parents, once I understood that about my culture, is that it's not that they don't believe in you, it's not that they don't want the best for you. As people, as a race, as a species, fear is a motivator. It's something that keeps us from doing what we do. So understanding that, I really lost a lot of my own fear in being able to walk into the room and just say, hey, look, Mum, Dad, this is not what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And I knew that everything they said as to why this would be a terrible idea wasn't them being negative. It wasn't them not supporting me. They were just scared. And so I tried to approach this. I tried to make things as simple in my life as possible. The only two feelings for me that exist are either fear or love. Now, within love, you can break that down to 100 categories, and the same with fear. But essentially, it's fear or love. So once I understood, once I saw my parents as human, once I saw the people within my culture as human, I understood that they also work from a place of fear or love. Once you can find your formula, find your formation, what you believe, then life does become very simple in the sort of decision-making aspect. Now, putting those decisions into practice is a whole other conversation. But in terms of making those decisions, it's very, very simple. Who am I? What do I believe in? I believe that everybody should be free to pursue whatever type of freedom and life they want, as long as it doesn't directly hurt anybody else. I want to be a photographer. I do not feel that that directly hurts anybody else. Therefore, there is nothing in my mind.
Exactly.
There is no family, no culture, no friend, no spouse that can say anything that would logically make me feel I shouldn't be pursuing this. That's how simple it is.
It's a calling.
Now, it's the calling. It goes back again to individual knowledge of self. Get to know yourself to a deep level. You don't have to go around telling everybody about who you are and explaining everything. You just have to know who you are. The more you know who you are, the easier decisions are. And I think what causes people most anxiety, which is something I get quite a lot, is it's the decision. Have you ever made a decision and all of a sudden you just feel like the weight of the world's lifted off because you finally decided? So it's not actually the doing of things which is causing us stress, it's trying to figure out if we have the right to decide these things. So all I do in those moments, and I was lost a couple of weeks ago, social distancing. What do you mean social distancing? I've got bills to pay.
Yes.
I'm in the midst of building a company. So I had to, it's like someone spun my compass and I had to wait for it. I had to find north again.
Yes.
So what I did is like, okay, Bruce, what is it you believe in? You believe that every day you wake up, you should be better today than you were tomorrow. Okay. If you can't do that in the traditional manner, how can you do it? I can read, I can plan, I can strategize. And so the point is, once you know who you are, once you've figured out your sort of rules that you want to live by, I think it makes it a lot easier to just get out there in the creative world and be yourself and to do you. But it all just comes down to self, and you have to remove people from that pedestal. My cultural pillars, the adults in my life, we're just human beings. We're just people trying to find love and give love, and that's it. And once you can see people for their humanity, the fear in being yourself and expressing yourself to people, it disappears. And that's something that I rely on a lot.
I think those are the very profound words that I'm going to meditate on as well. But I think the things that came to mind, I'm just going to say out loud, is things like, go over there. No. And what's it called? It's things like freedom. There's a Sinead O'Connor lyric that's always stayed with. And I realized that I'm very drawn to writers, creatives, anybody who shares their passions selflessly, because I think we're just that calling that you're talking about, you can't, there's no point in fighting it, otherwise that will be a very detrimental energy when it's not fulfilled. So there's a Sinead O'Connor lyric, and it's something like I will live by my own policies, I will sleep with a clear conscience, I will sleep in peace, has always stayed with me. And she's fantastic, lyrics and power. And then there's in terms of the so-called what we're discussing, the men and women is trash thing. There's I think it was Massive Attack and Tracy Thorn that stayed with me. That came to me when I was thinking about the notes for this. It was something like, you want freedom without love. You want magic, you want magic without love, and all this kind of thing. And I have a feeling I wanted to do this, and I wanted your wisdom and insights on this, because I thought you'd explore it really well, because I think these walking contradictions that men and women, boys and girls have to carry, I think it's not it's a misunderstanding, but it's also a shame, really. I think bridges don't have to be burnt, but a sincere apology, even if you don't know why you did something. Honestly, I swear down, social isolation, social distancing and isolation, there's going to be some people coming out of the woodwork, even if you don't know why, but you wronged somebody. An apology will go a long way, and just say, I was dumb. I don't know why. I was just dumb. Because sometimes you don't know why you do things. And I honestly believe inherited behavior, learned behavior, societal encouragement. Social media is a different kind of West world. It's a whole other thing. There's no sheriff. Even if there was sheriff, it would just be a whole madness thing. But I think coming back to that, a place of hurt can be healed.
Yes.
And also, it's not by force. You don't have to find love. But men and women, players and playettes, I beg, don't package it as love when it's just your loins, I beg. Just don't package it. Just come correct, say what you want. There's people like you out there. Don't go and find somebody's and try and steal their star. This is why we now have hashtags and had these nonsense hashtags, because they obviously, you see them piled on. This kind of constructive stuff gets buried. People need these answers, but they're there, but they're venting on the keyboard.
I think so, and I think that's because my opinion is that because people jump to part 3 of a strategy, which is communicate. Once we feel something emotionally, we're always so quick to want to communicate. You have wronged me. I don't like that. Why did you do that? We want to get to communicate. Whereas what I try to do in my best moments, and I fail at this routinely, but in my best moments, I try to identify. There's 3 things. The first thing I do is I try to identify. What is it I'm feeling? What am I actually feeling? You know what I mean? Am I feeling anger, love, pain, resentment? So I identify what I'm feeling. Number 2 is I understand. Once I've identified what I'm feeling, I need to understand it. Okay, I'm angry. Why am I angry? Have I been defensive? Have I been hurt? Like, what's going on? Why has this woman, this guy, this spouse, this that? Why what they've said? Men are trash. Why am I feeling this anger towards? I have to understand it. Then number 3, once you identify and understood, then you move to communicate. But I think at the age of social media, Twitter, Facebook, phone, everybody just jumps to communicate. Oh, I don't agree with that. Here's what I think. I remember back in the day when you had to be an expert to write a book, where in order for more than 1,000 people to hear your opinion, you had to be accredited somewhere. But now everybody's opinion is possible. So we've reached a situation where everybody feels their opinion should not only be given, but should be heard and agreed with. And I think that needs generalization. And again, that's the problem. Whenever you move away from a singular sense of self, I think that's when problems start to occur and challenges abound.
This child wants to get involved. I'm going to show her this in the future. I'm going to show her this in the future, and she'll learn herself. But I think it really helps to understand. I think the conflicts that aren't even intended on here. But on the one hand, then I'm realizing I think there's people who do want to build bridges, and you're so right when you say in terms of, because that anger as an energy, it's actually, well, people don't want to be self-reflective. What did you do? are you angry at yourself really, but you want to take it out on somebody else? You know, or lack of closure. That's why I said about the apology and stuff like that. But people, they have their pride, they have their ego, they know they've done wrong, but it depends on where you are. And I think your advice earlier was fantastic in terms of look within and find yourself and find that strength, because it's very hard. But yeah, I started social distancing way before the situation we're in.
Apart from heading to the gym, my life ain't changed that much. I keep myself to myself. I don't want nobody's wild on me. I keep myself to myself.
This is it.
My day really hasn't changed that, but I spend a lot of time with myself, both in a literal sense and a sort of metaphorical sense. I think on things like nobody can hurt you unless you allow them to. I truly believe that. I believe that all things good in our lives are our own doing. And I think all things bad in our lives are our own doing. People don't want to hear that from me when we're discussing these things. People don't want to get that. The idea that everything good and bad is your fault and your fault alone doesn't sit well with people. But this is my personal belief, in the sense that things good that happen to you usually occur when you've identified something, understood it, and communicated that desire, either through words or action. Things that are bad usually occur when you have somehow allowed that situation to happen, or you've allowed that situation to affect you. So, for instance, this is where it becomes challenging, is people don't see the forest for the trees. So you're here arguing, men are trash, you're here arguing with this specific guy who's really hurt you, and he doesn't seem to understand that the way he acted was below the standard of, you get into it, don't you? You start getting closer and closer to the tree. I always find people are just having the wrong conversation. The conversation here isn't that my man did this, she did that, and then they said this, and you believe what Tracy said. It's why you even talking to him in the first place. Any conversation that I get into is my fault. It's my responsibility. So what happens is, halfway through a conversation, when I'm arguing with someone and I'm feeling hurt because you're not getting it, the question isn't why aren't you getting it? The question is, why did I put myself into this conversation in the first place? Did I do my due diligence? I've allowed this person into my life. I've allowed this person the power to affect my energy. I did that, not them. I did that. So either my criteria for picking friends needs to change, my criteria for picking my spouses needs to change, my criteria for how I interact with people and what I allow needs to change. Because if there's nobody there to insult you, you can't be insulted. And so my mantra is, you must take ultimate responsibility for the good and the bad in your life. So men are trash? Possibly, I don't know. I haven't met all men, and I have no idea what a man is. So I would spend less time worrying about statements like that and more time identifying who you are and what you want, understanding it on a deeply spiritual level, and finding the intelligence, empathy, capacity, and love and ability to communicate that, both in a physical and spoken manner, to the world, so that you can get to the love that you're looking at. That would be my advice. Don't blame anybody for your losses, and don't blame anybody for your wins, because the cold hard truth is, we are responsible for both. I think that's perfect. I think it's perfectly put, but I want to add another layer to it in terms of, because people say to me, not everyone has your sensibilities, and I always want to give people a chance. But if you are good-natured and don't see bad in people, you will allow them to be good. So I think it's more to be like, I think you're right to have a type of stillness, but at the same time, be wary of repeat patterns of behavior. That mask that you were talking about earlier, some people wear them well, whether they're blood, friends, acquaintances, loved ones, and whether they're self-interested. So I think my thing is about people projecting their insecurities for control, and then they don't like it. Whatever they're going through, kindness for weakness,
And when that weakness and authenticities come back,
I agree with you completely, and this is where I understand that my view and take on things is a bit more hardcore.
But you're right. You're right. If you can see the shadows, if you can see the light, the shadows. Thank you.
Well, I think one word I picked up on there is sensibility, is what you said. You know, you have to allow people the sensibilities. Well, here's the thing, in my humble opinion, sensibilities are free. So if somebody doesn't have the sensibilities to see the better version of this, I can't really sort of forgive you for that. Sensibilities are free. So the sensibilities I may or may not have, I didn't have to pay for them. Sensibilities are free. Listen, read a book, learn. That's free. Number two is, you know, when people come at you, like you were saying, and they take a kindness for weakness and they do this and that, I agree with all of that. You're absolutely right. But I'm always one step removed from that. It doesn't matter to me whether people take my kindness for weakness. It doesn't matter to me whether people are displacing their anger on me. You see, again, those are the details that people get bogged down with. My very simple question is, what was I doing there in the first place? Why was I there? It doesn't matter whether he understands you or wants the best for you or is this whether people get bogged. Why were you there? Why is this person in your circle in the first place? That's your responsibility. It's your responsibility to keep a positive circle of like-minded individuals who help you grow and challenge your viewpoint. There is nobody in my life that speaks to me in a manner that upsets me. That's not to say I don't fall out with friends and we don't argue. Of course we do. But there is nobody who can upset me further than an everyday kind of level where a little text message and a joke won't quash it. Because if there is, that's not their fault. It's mine for having them in my circle in the first place.
Boundaries,
ultimate responsibility. If there's someone in your life who doesn't get you and is not giving you what you want, they're in your life because you've allowed it. It's not their fault, it's your doing. And I think once you start to take ultimate responsibility for all situations, I found that my life is easier.
I love that. We're going to come back to this and other topics. And I really, seriously, you're a busy guy. So thank you so much for your time. See this child. Anyway, can you tell people how to connect with you? And I'll put all the connects under the videos. What do you need? Who do you want to collab with once we're set free?
You know what? I'm always looking for creative collaborations. Graphic designers, models, creative like designers, sound designers, musicians. I do a very wide varied set of projects. It's BUKI KOSHONI, which is BUKIKOSHONI.com. And all my social media handles are @BUKI KOSHONI. Don't be shy. DM me, send me an email. If you are looking to collaborate, hit me up. I have so many projects going because I don't like to be bored. But whatever your skill is, I'm positive I have a project which fits your talents. And also, I just think, especially at this time, it's just good to remember that we're not alone. There's a lot of people out there in the same boat. And one thing I do often forget is just how powerful it is to find someone else going through what you're going through. I often think that, oh my goodness me, I'm so stressed, I'm so anxious, this is happening. And one other person says, oh yeah, I think the same thing. And I'm like, really? So you're worried about exactly, and it completely alleviates my stress and pressure. So look, just hit me up, BUKIKOSHONI.com. All my social media handles are @BUKI KOSHONI. Feel free to drop me a line, tell me I'm talking crap, tell me you agree with me, just hit me up and communicate. It's a pleasure to talk.
Either way, whether you disagree or agree with him, you also need Buki's creativity and in your life, and just collab. Go to his site, connect with him. You never know. A little of him goes a long way. And thank you so much for your time. Wish you and family blessings, and really appreciate your time. Stay peace to everybody. Look out for yourself.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For your family as well.
Thank you, sir. Take care.
What's the matter, Mum?
Beautiful.
What's it got to do?
Do you want some ice cream?
Yeah.
Okay then.